to keep you engaged in the know on a regular basis. Some people go to events and get all excited and then it ends. Then what? What about keeping you engaged, in tune with what's happening? And we make sure we bring the best of the best to you to make sure you know what options you have, what tactics you can use, what strategies you can use, and what platforms you can use. So, and the good thing about this is engaging. This is for you. We brought Brian Vieaux in to share some great thoughts. You've seen him, I'm sure. You've seen his book. You've seen him on Dave Savage's and many other calls. You've seen him speaking. There you go. Rethink everything. And that's what we've had to do this last few years, haven't we, Brian?
Oh yeah, we still
No
are.
doubt. Exactly. So this is interactive. This makes it a lot better call as you become more interactive, meaning at the bottom of your screen, you'll see a little reactions button. Why don't we test that out? Give me a thumbs up, a heart, give me some kind of love. That way, Brian and I know if you like the content or think it's funny or whatever, give us a little reaction. Also, our chat is live, meaning if you have questions or want us to go back on a topic that Brian and I are talking about, then ask the question. It's very interactive. We want it as engaging as possible. We are recording this. And if you know of others in your company that should be on this, hit them up. I don't know why people wouldn't be on these calls on a weekly basis because it's always value add with the best speakers, best producers, best leaders in the industry, like Brian Vieaux. So, Brian, thank you for joining us today, buddy.
Thanks, Don. Appreciate you guys having me on. Excited for this.
Very cool. And if you guys would, let's start it off with where are you from? I love seeing where people are from. It's kind of fun and it gets you off the fence because you just sit there and I want you off your email if you can. I mean, come on. Anybody want something from McDonald's? Let me know. I'll place the order because I had to jump in at a McDonald's to do the call because I'm out of the office. But look at that. Brian, you're from Detroit, huh? I didn't
Yes,
even know
sir.
that. I
Yeah.
should know that. Ohio, New Jersey, Dayton, Ohio. Wow, very nice. It looks like some of your peeps are following you, Brian.
I
That's what
know.
I
We
got a
got
feeling.
I love it. The Midwest in the
All right,
house.
who's here just to see Brian because he's the man and he's a friend of yours. Because I guarantee some of you are like, oh, I'm a Brian fan because I am, without a doubt. So we'll keep people will keep trickling in and stuff. I see some of my team here. Hey, Amy, Daryl, good job. Don T. Love seeing some of my team's really smart. They get on these calls almost every single week, and it's really nice considering they hear from Gino and I like every single day. So they're like, all right, let's hear from somebody else. That's the idea of these calls. Um, and just so you know, Brian, we got some really exciting news coming up in the next couple months with Momentum Builder and our Momentum Builder event 2025. Looks like we're probably moving it from early spring to fall of 2025.
Okay.
We're realizing you'll appreciate this. So the idea of the momentum builder was, everybody gets excited at the beginning of the year. Woo woo, new year! I'm gonna have my best year ever, and I'm ready to go. And by March, they're like, "Oh, I'm way off my goals. I haven't hit
Right.
any goals. I'm depressed. My year's gonna suck." Well, duh! It's January and February, which it's a technical term, suck,
Yeah.
right? It
Oh
does.
yeah.
It's just usually two of our worst months of the year. And the idea of momentum was to get them charged up for our earnings season, which is April through September is our bulk of earnings season,
Yeah.
spring through the end of summer. But we're finding out that it's hard to get, it's almost too late though, we're finding. So we're going to move it to fall so that we can prep everybody to be prepared by the beginning of the year and not have to get
I
re-engaged.
love
We'll
that.
prep them that January and February will be slower.
Yeah.
But when you go out and chase it, you chase it in fall, you chase it at the beginning of the year so that when it hits, you get the business against your competition. So we're going to give everybody advantages that others won't have by having it in fall of next year. So it's going to be
Very smart.
really exciting stuff. And we're aligning with some huge rock stars. It's going to be really good. So today, um, again, would love you to engage, ask any questions. But Brian Vieaux, if you haven't known, he's written a couple of books. One is Rethink Everything, And then he also did a collaboration, which I'm doing as well, Brian. So don't think I'm stealing your thunder, but we've been already working on a similar series, meaning getting some of the rock stars to write a chapter.
Yeah,
We've
I
been
love it.
talking about with our Momentum Builder group about doing the same thing. So
Yeah.
you can ask Kim Perry and Bill Hart and stuff that I was talking about it
I
two
know
years ago.
there's so much room for collaborative projects like this. I love it. Congratulations.
Yeah, everybody's like, "Oh, are you bummed that he did?" I'm like, "No, more the
No, it's
merrier.
great.
It's all good. I'll
Yeah.
support you. You support us. If we can get our originators and top producers and leaders to give their insights of what we learned in one chapter, what a blessing.
Yeah.
Instead of
Yeah.
having to like read a whole book, you're like, all right, I got this section, it's going to teach me this. I got this section and teach me this. So kudos to you. Well done.
Thank
And
you.
bringing the leaders and influencers together to help our industry. And that's what Momentum Builder is all about. It's just becoming the number one resource in the industry. We're agnostic. We don't have anything to sell other than we sell you, Brian.
Yeah.
We sell FinLocker, and Mortgage Coach and MBS Highway. We sell the best of the best, and everybody's vetted, and we know you rock. We know your product. We know you, and it's easy to promote and support what you do. So why don't we talk a little bit about? I know you didn't want to do a commercial on FinLocker. I know that's not what you do, but right now making a client sticky is harder than ever. Am I right?
Yeah. Totally.
I mean, we're gonna have everybody's really excited about this upcoming refi hit and the rates going down and release in the market, which I think will happen, not as fast as everybody thinks. It'll happen over time. It won't be that like the COVID crash
Yeah.
that lowered rates to ridiculous levels that hopefully we will never see again, even though it was my best couple of years. But that meant there was a catastrophe in our world, and I really don't want COVID back,
No.
not at those levels, and the families that are affected and the people that unfortunately died of it. We don't want that. Some people are like, I want 2 and 3%. No, you don't,
No.
right?
No, we don't.
So you have a product that can help us maintain and retain our clients better than anyone, plus educate them by doing it. Not just a CRM, but something that adds value. Am I right?
Yeah, and that's definitely you've touched on a piece of what we do. Um, and so that the client retention, here's the way I think about the mortgage and then specifically how our product kind of fits into it. I think on one edge, and in this part of the season, I hate to say far left or far right for obvious reasons. So I'm going to
Right.
say,
Especially this year.
I'm going to stay out of the politics for a while.
I
So,
hear ya.
on one end of the spectrum, you have your first-time home buyers, right? And it's specifically what we try to do is we try to address those first-time home buyers that are 6, 12, 18 plus months out from being ready to buy. And I think the same premise or principle applies here in terms of stickiness. It's hard to stay connected to somebody that's going through this emotional and financial preparedness project, right? Because that's what it is
Mhm.
for the
Yeah.
consumer.
Yeah. It's a journey.
It's a journey. It is a journey. It's a lot of zigs and zags along the way.
It
And
is.
so what we worked on with our product was building a set of digital financial tools that support and educate and engage a first-time home buyer through that 6, 12, 8 journey of preparation. And our belief is that technology alone doesn't provide the solution that cohort of home buyers needs. It's the technology, very modern, UI, UX with all the right tools, coupled with a loan officer that leads with empathy and leads with education and is willing to play the long game, right? And when you combine those two together, it's a pretty powerful force. And so that's one end of the continuum is where we focus on educating and engaging and pulling people through that funnel with our tool. And then to your point, I'll call it the other end of the continuum, like the past client ongoing engagement that keeps them sticky to you in a way that's beyond CRM. We don't believe that you shouldn't use CRM. You absolutely need it.
Of course,
We
of course.
we believe that you probably need a little bit more than a CRM set of journeys, and that's where our product can fill a gap there. And so, how do we do that on that past client basis? It's taking a lot of the same tools that you use to prepare financially, and then repurpose those for successful home ownership management. And so, still important to monitor and track your credit once you own a home. Maybe it's more important, in a lot of ways. We allow you to track the value of your home and then bring it into your total net worth picture. So we believe that the home is, in most cases, the single largest asset and liability at the same time on someone's personal ledger. And so that's kind of the center of the plate for that financial snapshot, and then we can
Can I
build around
touch
it.
can I touch on that piece right
Yeah.
there alone? Because, and no, I don't mean to interrupt you, but
No,
this
no,
is
no.
important because the engagement factor is the problem with most CRMs. And everybody has, spam filters and, stuff that just it becomes noise,
Yeah.
unfortunately. And we have a CRM, you have to use them when we talk to our team that you have to engage personally. But what I love about this is it's stuff that's important to them versus just, hey, we do loans, we
Yeah.
do refinances, here's where rates are at. Everybody's got that. It's all over the news. It's just noise. It really is. I mean, and unfortunately, Rockets and all these guys are getting better and better at it.
Yeah.
So you better add some value. And the main things I know is two of the things, and I know there's more to it, but just so we don't lose this, so everybody's paying attention, the main things that people are going to pay attention to is the two you just mentioned: credit. I watch mine, and
Yeah.
I pay attention when that thing pops up each week. And says, here's your credit scores.
Yeah.
Here's it's gone up, it's gone down, whatever it is. I pay attention to that personally, and I'm in the business. And home value. Do you pay attention? Okay, I'll ask you this, Brian. This would be fun. And anybody else answers. I'd love an answer. When you get a postcard in the mail or a newsletter from a real estate agent, do you check out about how to mow your lawn or how to save your water bill or any of that? The only thing you'll look at is the comps. What are
That's
homes
it.
selling near me? That's
That's
all
it.
you care about. I don't care. And I know these agents too. I'm like, all right, Dippy, you're good, but what's selling around me? And again, I'm in the business. I have every tool in the book, but I'm still going to look at what's sold around me. So you're engaging with them. The two of the biggest things that they will pay attention. And who doesn't want to see? I mean, we've only had a couple times in history when values go down. So who doesn't want to see their value going up?
Right.
That's something you can't wait to click on every month. Like, okay, it
Exactly.
went up another. I mean, you're talking 5% on an $800,000 home. That's a lot of money per year. That's a good feeling. 5 years later, you're like, wow, I just gained 200 grand.
Yeah.
That's
Especially
a
in the
good email.
context, especially when you look at it in the context of your total net worth, right? And so it really starts to be impactful.
It's a huge part. I mean,
Yeah.
and we all know that, sorry about that, 80% of everybody's net worth usually is their home.
Right.
Just a fact. I mean, sorry, savings account, we know what they are. Some have them, some did good with 401k, but most are relying on their net worth is their equity. That's what we always say. A homeowner has a 40 times greater net worth than a renter.
Yeah. Yeah.
So
Don,
go on again.
you mentioned the Rocket name. So um, this is part of how I like to describe the FinLocker product. Is we've built Rocket Money for everybody that's not Rocket Mortgage, is one way to think about it. And so
Yay. Yay.
so why is that important? I know a lot of people, have their own opinions about Rocket Mortgage and whether they're good or bad or indifferent for consumers. Again, similar to politics, I'm not going to get into that. But one thing I do know about the people at Rocket, and I'm 20 minutes away from them. I know a lot of people over there. They're brilliant marketers.
They are.
Brilliant.
It's really a marketing company, if you ask me. It really
Yeah.
is.
And so if you believe that they're really exceptional at marketing, then you should also believe that when they talk about a tool like Rocket Money that they use at the top of the funnel to acquire customers into their ecosystem, even as an individual local loan officer, why wouldn't you want to use the same type of tools to attract people into your brand, into your ecosystem? And that's really one of the things that we sought to do, is to, somewhat level the playing field in terms of consumer facing technology and make it available to everybody that's not the biggest of the big, that has thousands of technologists running around building cool stuff. So that's, one way to think about a product like FinLocker is that it allows you to kind of play in the same space as some of the biggest of the big out there when it comes to consumer acquisition.
Well, all right, so I want to hit something that I love about having you part of our community, Brian, because you fit our model so much, which is serve first. You're a giver. And those who are the top of our industry, and you do a lot of interviews, you know them, you put them in your books, you're a speaker, is you find out that the best of the best tend to be givers.
Yeah.
They give first, and serve first. And I'm not trying to be, holier than thou, but as I'm interviewing more and more and get to know, people like you and Champanosians and all they give first.
Right.
Dave Savage did it for 30 years, before he became Trust Engine, just giving
Yeah.
first. Barry Habib's and all that, Todd Duncan's, they give. They constantly give because they want to change people's lives. And I love the product that you put together because and I'm not just trying to promote FinLocker, it's just something we need to be doing to help our clients or help their family. Everybody thinks maybe a client says, "Oh, I got my home, I'm good." What about their kids? What about
Yeah.
their coworkers? What about their friends, family members? Guarantee they need help too. And if they can help them with this product and service, you can help more people. Because I know our number one, and some of my team members are here that are rock stars at it. A lot of our production right now is first time home buyers.
Yeah.
People think they can't afford it, but they just need to be educated on how to afford it.
Right.
And
Yeah.
that's what we're doing now. And there's a lot more than you think. One of our girls did a homebuyer seminar, and she has an influencer that helps real estate agent that helps bring in butts and seats. So don't go, "Oh, how do I get 90 people?" She got 90 people
Yeah.
in one homebuyer seminar.
Amazing.
Yeah. And she, wrote up 20 offers, within a couple weeks.
Yeah.
And my team knows who she is, and it's legit. I'm not making this shit up
I love that.
because she knows how to do it. But I guarantee she'll be one of the first people to now align with this. And we white labeled it, with our company and stuff. But it's just a great platform because it does serve.
I appreciate that. And just to piggyback on the home buying webinar, the first time home buying webinar seminar, there's a lot of things that you learn over time, right? That you design technology with an idea that it's going to be used for this, and then all of a sudden you start to see all these other ways people are using it, which is pretty cool. But then it teaches you to, and it forces you almost to a degree to adapt to the usage and then enhance and build on top of it. So there's two areas that we see a lot of traction with our product. And I'll even just say, think of FinLocker as any kind of a lead magnet. It could be whatever else you're using, but one area is, and you hit on this with that influencer strategy. And by the way, you don't need hundreds of thousands of followers to be an influencer. Each of us has hundreds, maybe 1,000 followers, whatever, in our Facebook, Instagram, even I'm not on TikTok, but the younger people on TikTok.
Me either. I can't dance.
But the point there is we all have the opportunity to be of influence and serve through education with no expectation for anything in return, right? And what we're seeing is a lot of people have success taking an educate first approach on social, not selling. Nobody wants to be sold. Everybody wants to be served, but nobody wants to be sold. And so, educate, educate, educate. And then where our product is kind of filling a pretty area, which again, we didn't seek to do this, is as a lead magnet from that education, from that service. So the example of your loan officer who's been very successful with home buying webinars, we have a couple clients that are doing the same thing and then using their version of our technology as a way. So there's the education aspect of a seminar or a class or a webinar, and then there's the experiential education aspect. And what happens is our product brings to life the teachings of what it means to manage your credit and what's a good DTI for buying a home and blah 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 blah. But our technology can kind of bring those trainings to life, and then the webinar becomes it's more than a 60-minute webinar. Could be a 6-month webinar that lives through the technology where the loan officer is playing the leading role they're always front and center in the experience. So I love the webinar. And
She actually does them live
that's
events
that's
because the
awesome.
experience factor. And
Yep.
then they can ask questions and they actually do it as more of a forum. Everything has to be, this will help you. Somebody out there because you're thinking, I don't have a presentation. Well, you can get presentations. You can get information through, FinLocker. You can get it through First IQ. Kirsten's, if
Yeah.
anybody wants to become an ambassador and have the best, tools and it's good for our industry as well because it's consumer advocacy and how to get people in, and she's got all the platforms, but it's really a conversation and they just ask questions, they
Yeah.
answer questions
Love
because
that.
people don't know. But I love your info because the hard thing is there's going to be some that'll be ready now, and I guarantee I heard you talking to this with Dave and Deborah and Todd about how you think that the process may be 6 months to 18 months, but when they're educated, that 18 months can become 6 months
Sure.
because now they're educated. I bet you see it all the time because I know a lot think, oh, it'll be years before I buy a home. Well, once they're educated on how to control their credit expenses, down payment, that they don't need 20% down, that there are, options, what a DTI is, what a good credit score is, doesn't have to be 760, all these educational pieces, all of a sudden like, wow, I
Yeah.
can buy. I did not know I could buy. So I love your educational process to help people realize how to become a homeowner. And it is a process, you know.
It is. It's a we just released a paper this morning, a white paper that we worked on, and I titled it. Well, what did I title it? I think I said something like why playing the long game is a good strategy, something like that. Um, Too often, and I think everybody that's on this call, we've all been through markets where a lot of business came in just by virtue of us waking up and showing up, right? And that's clearly not happening today. Um, and so I subscribe to this theory that as a loan officer, I should always have 15, 20, 30, maybe more people that are in some stage of, between 6 and 18 months out of being ready to buy a home. And that's those are the people that I'm playing the long game with. I'm there for them. I'm educating them. I'm advising them all the way through that journey. I would say those types of consumers are the most valuable because if you pour yourself into them for 18 months, like without any expectation for anything in return, it's going to be tough for them to say that they're not going to do a deal with you, A. And it's going to be even tougher for them not to refer friends, family, neighbors to you for the service you gave them without any expectation of anything on the back end. I think, and it just goes to your point around, serving first, being a giver, you'll get your share it back in spades without a doubt.
I love that. And thank you, Brian. So any of you have any questions for Brian? Just so what if you have questions about the platform? I know we're talking about a certain platform. And the only reason I bring it up is because we're in the trenches still. Gino and I have a team. We have loan officers. We help them get business, retain business, save business, and all that. So we get it. Just so you know, we're not like just speakers and run an event. We're in the grind daily, and we know the challenges you all have. And part of it is we have because we only have so much business. Capture ratios are tough right now. You have to jump on whatever hot opportunity is now because you can't afford to lose it right now. So how do you keep in touch with those that could be home buyers down the road or could be potential people that are rebuying or their kids buying and all that? I love that you have a journey for them to keep them engaged while you take on the hot buyers. But it's not just the CRM sending out, like I said, canned emails better than nothing. But honestly, I don't know how much. It's just at least you're keeping them in the know. Um, Oh, you guys had a great idea, by the way. I want to share this, though you guys are all going to get a bonus because I wrote it down. Believe it or not, which was funny, you and Todd were talking, and Todd shared this, and I wanted to steal it. But a lot of times you would think that the borrower is going to remember your name, right?
Yeah.
And I think I think data says something like only 15% do. 15%. That's it. So what about the rest? How do they find you? You think they're going to remember Brian Vieaux or Don Gatling? No, I love that Todd puts in there, Todd, book span, mortgage
Yeah.
lender or
Yeah.
mortgage expert or whatever. Mortgage. He goes, if you forget my name, just type in mortgage and you'll find me.
Yeah.
I'm always there for you to answer any questions you have regarding your finances. I'm here. Just hit mortgage and you get them in their head that they can always find you. Because I'll do that. I put, when I meet people at events, I put the event because I'm like, who was this that I met? And then it'll say mastermind coffee or
Yeah.
something. I'm like, oh yeah, yeah, we had coffee together. Brian and I had coffee. So the more notes and stuff, but I thought it was good if you just tell them that I'm going to be your mortgage person forever. Everybody uses that cliche, but be that person and tell them
Yeah.
how to find you and that you're always available to answer any questions. There's no questions above you, whether it's time, is it time to refinance? Is it time to purchase? Is it time to cash out? Is it time to move? Whatever it is, I'm your guy. I'll give you honest answers. I'm your go-to. Just hit mortgage. And I thought it was a pretty cool thing,
Yeah.
a
No,
little
I
hack.
started to I took that and kind of put it in my contact. So now when I share my contact, it's not just my company name, but there's like a little description of what we actually do. So people can be like, oh yeah, FinLocker, they do.
No, that's good. Again, I guarantee you a lot of people have Don Gatling and they're like, Don Gatling, they can't remember my last name, of course, and they'll put Momentum Builder.
Yeah, yeah, totally.
Like, oh yeah, that's who it is, the guy from Momentum Builder. But whatever it is, make sure that they know how to find you and know what you do, you
Yeah,
know. I mean, you could just say, you know, interest rates or whatever, but mortgage, so they know where to find you. And so that was
right.
just a hack that I wanted to share. Anybody
I
like
love that.
that? I want to see anybody got a thumbs up on that, or anybody already doing that? Anyone? Give me a. Let's see. I'm gonna look for a. Give me a clap if you're already doing that. The hand clapping. I'm just curious. If he's already telling them to do that. Okay. All right. We got at least a couple. Good. Good. All right. Um, so other than the platform, why don't we also share why they should, anybody that's an originator should look into your books? Because
Yeah, so
I think I love what you're doing, and again, it's not a commercial. You don't do commercials. You give value. I love that. Some people are self-promoting. You don't do that. You're just always trying to give value.
yeah, so I'll give you the backstory on how this green book came to be. So I always get this wrong. So over this shoulder, you can see the purple book, right? So the purple book it was written by Kyle Draper. Um, Kyle is the co-producer, I guess, a co-author. We hate saying co-author because neither of us wrote a chapter in this book. I'll come back to that in a minute. But about a
I
year
love
ago,
Kyle.
a year ago, I got that purple book in the mail, and you know, I work remote, work from home, so it's still get. I'm like a dog when I hear the ring bell in the front. I'm like, oh, who's here to visit? And so I got a little package on the doorstep, and I rip it open, and it's the purple book, and I open the cover, and there's a QR code, and I scan the QR code, and a video pops up, and it's this guy Scott Payne. I never met Scott Payne in my life, never knew Scott Payne. Scott at the time had his own business. He did some technology consulting. And the video was really nice. It said, "Hey, Brian, I follow you on LinkedIn. I love what you're doing. I thought this book would be interesting for you." He never asked for a meeting. He didn't ask for anything. He was giving, all was sharing this book. I read that book the weekend I got it like 4 times. It's an easy read. And I started taking screenshots of the pages and doing LinkedIn posts kind of with my thoughts, comments on what I was learning from this book. And about 4 posts in, I get this direct message from this guy, Kyle Draper, who I'd never met before. And Kyle says, "Hey man, I don't know who you are, but," and my first thought was, "Oh no, what did I do?" And he says, "But I appreciate you sharing, my book with your audience, your following, whatever." And he said, "If you have 10 minutes, I'd love to just get to know you." I'm like, "Of course, man. You wrote a book. I want to meet you." So we scheduled a 15-minute conversation that went for almost an hour and a half the first time we talked. And I learned obviously how he was motivated, inspired to write the Purple Book. During that conversation, I learned that he had a vision that there would be more Rethink Everything books. And then we went off on our own way. Like 3 nights later, I'm just laying in bed and I'm like, I got it. I think I have an idea for the next Rethink Everything. And the working title in my head was Rethink Everything You Know About Serving the Next Generation Home Buyer. That was the working title in my head, because even a year ago, it was like, guys, we have to think differently about how we reach, assist, engage, and nurture this next generation, this next cohort of first-time home buyers. And so I was so excited. I woke up the next day, I called Kyle. I'm like, "Dude, I got the idea. What do you think?" And he's like, "I love it. Who's going to write it?" I'm like, "Yeah, good question. I'm not writing a book. No one wants to hear from me." And so we kind of said, well, what if we invited some people into this, and they, each contributed, and we'll get some expert voices in the book. And our initial thought was we'll get 10 people. It'll be a 10-chapter, easy, short read. This thing turned into 37 chapters. It's experts, but most importantly, it's 37 givers. These are people that asked for nothing in return. They all said yes to our request, which was crazy. Some of these people we knew, a lot I never knew at all, and now I could tell you they're like my closest friends. But the coolest thing that came out of this, and I'm guessing your collaboration is going to have a lot of the same kind of look and feel, is we divided the book into 6 sections. And so the opening section is mindset, but you're not just hearing about mindset from one person. You're going to get 6 flavors of mindset and tips, because what one person says may not resonate with you, but this person may. And so we kind of took that theme and did it in each chapter. So we've got a personal branding, we've got an advocacy and education, and we got some technology sections. But the whole idea was to give the reader more than one perspective on a particular subject and topic. And then the coolest thing that came out of the book, and this was what Kyle did in his Purple Book, each chapter has a QR code. And so, the chapters are written in a fairly concise manner, so you can breeze through them pretty quickly. But then behind the QR code, each of the contributors is on video going a layer deeper into their topic, into their subject. And then one of the things that's coming out of the book is it's really becoming a community around, this physical book, which has been super fulfilling, super exciting. And so I love that you call your work a collaboration, because that's exactly what ours is. And it's turned into a little bit of like I said, a little bit of a community, which has been pretty cool.
Yeah, it's all about community, and kudos to you. Like I said, that's why I prefaced them. Like I love what you did, because we were working on the same thing.
Love it.
Because is nice to have different perspectives. Like
Yes.
I love hearing the mindset of, and I can go through the list and you'll go, yeah, that's good. But it's all a little different.
Yeah.
And you can choose what you can actually take pieces of each. You
Yeah.
don't have
Yeah.
to just say, Craig Davis or Phil Treadwell or whatever is the mindset. No, no. Phil's great. Craig Davis is great. Kai McBride. You can go through the list of
Yeah.
great mindset coaches and go, oh, I'll steal a little bit of that. I'll steal that. Or something will speak to you differently. That's why I like about having the different chapters, having different voices, because someone might use tech differently than the other person.
Yeah.
Someone might reach out to their borrowers or do follow-up systems different than the other person. You go, but every one of them, you're like, well, I can swipe and adapt a little from each and
Right.
create my own piece, but now I know how they do it or where they go to do it, that type of thing. Just
Yeah.
like, educating everybody that's on this call, and thank you for being on the call and staying with us, is one learning about these great books that are easy reads and good pearls of wisdom you get to steal from the best of the best.
Yeah.
That's the same idea we're doing with Momentum Builder book. Um, but also, your platform is something to help us educate, retain, and make our clients sticky, which is so hard because I'm just going to go and call my database up and they're all going to know who I am or work with me. Well, if you didn't do a good job of adding value during the last 3 years during
Yeah.
this slowdown, then guess what? You're gonna lose at least half your business to the rockets and cash calls and all those that are gonna be back. Just so you
Right.
know, they'll be back. Now, fortunately for all of us, we do have a lot less, due to attrition, we have a lot less of us still around.
Yeah.
So kudos to you hanging out there, because I know every day while this kept dragging on, like waiting for rates to go down, more people dropping off. They're like, I can't wait any longer. I got to go to get a real job, which you and I can easily jump all over because I hate when people say, I'm going to go get a real job. I'm like,
Yeah.
what
Hello.
the hell is being a mortgage professional? It's a
Yeah.
real, I mean, I know, Gene and I, if we're lucky, we do have some half days, which means we only work 12 hours.
Right. Right.
You have to be in the grind, I think, more than ever right now, because you have to really chase the business, but the opportunity is bigger than ever. And I know you're preaching this too, Brian, and I
Yeah.
hear Dave preaching this and Tom Ferries and all these people that been around the block. You've been in 35 years. I'm 37. I started much younger than you, obviously. But you've seen cycles.
Yeah.
You've seen cycles, but you also know what the other side of the cycle is. And yes, is it brutal and painstaking? And like I said, some of my team members who I love, I watch what they go through, and we have to empathize and
Yeah.
do everything we can to help. And Gina and I help more than ever. When we were all killing it, all we had to do is make sure that their loans went through. They
Right.
didn't like need us. They're like, I got business, dude. I don't need you. Just make sure my loans go through. So that we went to the production side of things and just made sure our manufacturing process was the best out there. But now we have to figure out how to build and retain business and increase our capture ratios, which are lowest I've ever seen in history. Have you seen them this low before?
No. No. And I think we've hit on a bunch of the reasons, right? And if we think about the purchase side, especially that first time cohort, there's just not properties out there, right? There's people that
Right.
want to buy that just there's no inventory. And so you talked about the cycle, and I want to believe that we're at the worst, or maybe the worst is behind us. We just
I
don't
keep
know
telling my
yet.
team that rock's almost over the edge.
Yeah, yeah. But those of us that have done this cycle a few times and more than a few times, the other side of it's actually really good for a bunch of different reasons. And you hit on one. It's just less competition typically on the other side of it. Um, and so kudos to everybody that's on this call and that's still fighting the fight and doing the grind, because I say we because we are all in this together. We will win on the other
Right.
side. It's just a matter of when that happens.
I agree. Well, thanks for that, Brian, because being through the cycles, I mean, some haven't. I mean, a lot of our industry is aging out. I'm on that upper thing. I just love what I do. I mean, that's why we created Momentum Builder. I want to give everybody the resources and opportunities, just like you do with your books and your platform, is how do I help other people other than just, doing loans? You get after, 3 decades of doing this, you're like, how can I help others now? because it really gets to that stage. And that's why you talk to the Daves and the Todds and the Barrys and you and Ryan Grants and Josh. You go down the list, Tim
Yeah.
Braheem's, they're all givers. They're all like, I just want to help others be more successful and know how to get there easier. Because I don't know if you know my story. I almost quit the industry because I'm hard work. Who's a hard worker out there? Give me a thumbs up. I want to see at least a couple of thumbs up out there. Okay. The reason I ask that is it could be a deficit. It could be a challenge because I have no problem working hard. I went from multiple professional sports and professional motocross, and I know how to work hard. But the problem is if you're working hard but not smart, it could be a problem. And I
Right.
thought I could just outwork everybody, and I was trading hours for dollars, and I was running out of hours. And I'm like, this
Yeah.
is a stupid industry. I don't have any more hours. And luckily, I got aligned with Todd, Barry, Dave, coaching, building champions, all these people that went, you're just doing it wrong, Don.
Yeah.
If you use these tools and you use these systems and you don't do the things you shouldn't be doing, somebody else is doing those, you can duplicate yourself over and over again and grow your business and be successful and actually like it. And here's the key, Brian. I bet you learned this one early. I didn't. You don't learn it at first because you think you have to work with everybody, but you learn to work with those you like working with.
Yeah.
Because
Yeah.
the other
Yeah.
ones will burn you out or make you hate your job. So work with those you like working with, either your team. Like I love all my team members at our PRMG Western Region. We don't have assholes. Plain and simple.
Right.
We won't have them on our team. And I know that's a technical term, but we just won't. And same with agents. I won't work with ones that are just jerks and are
Yeah.
abusing me. So you don't have to either. Find the ones that speak to you and you connect with and get tight with them and get all their business.
Yeah.
Am I right?
I totally agree with that. And I think like what we do on social media is a perfect example of that. And this is where I would encourage people to not to overthink what you do on your social profiles. Just be you, be who you are, be authentic on social. And guess what? You're going to attract people that like you. And then you've just fulfilled you've kind of solved for that equation of only working with people you like, because if you're real and authentic on social, then again the people that are following you are going to be attracted to that, and by nature they're going to be people that you like and that like you. And so guess what? If someone doesn't like what I say and do on social, they're probably not following me, and they're probably not showing up in my pipeline either, and that's okay.
Right, right, right. And I love that. The key word, and we got to be careful of becoming a new cliche, is authenticity. You're hearing it
Yeah.
a lot, but it is true. You do have to be authentic, but don't just do it to do it. Make sure
Yeah.
that you're adding some kind of value because otherwise you're noise. You got to be very, very careful about being noise because they'll turn you off,
Right.
plain and simple. But also share more about who you are because it's funny. I'm just learning this to get better at it. I'm an old school grinder with working my database and my agents and stuff. So I'm learning the social media aspect of things. And what's really it's funny here is like let them learn more about you and what's important to you or what you're about. So I've been sharing, for example, I'm training for a big motocross race, and it's a Vet World Championships. Anybody that's 30 and over go to the World Championships here in California. So I'm training to try to become top 10 in the world,
All
and
right.
anybody 60 and over. So, but I've been posting my journey and in my goals and how I'm doing. Like I posted at the beginning, I'm like, all right, I'm starting my training because I'm too fat. I'm at this weight, and my goal is to get down to this weight. So I've been posting my progress. I
Yeah.
started my first post, I think I was like 193, and I'm gonna do better and better about lowering my weight. And here's what I'm doing to do it and everything. And now, then I'm posting I'm at 188 and I'm 183. And like today I weighed in at 178.
Let's
I've lost
go.
20 pounds from my high, you know, and it's inspiring others, but people are paying more attention to that than any of my mortgage
Oh
posts.
yeah. Yeah.
But now I have more followers and people are paying attention. So when I do give an update on what's going on in the mortgage, I have more people that pay attention
Yep. I
because it's
love it.
not all about rates are up, rates are down. Everybody's like, whatever. I heard that from, Channel 5 this morning.
Right. I learned so
So,
I love learning about this next generation of home buyers and younger people in general. And so one thing that's always was clear to me, people are always going to do their due diligence on you, right? No matter what, they're going to vet you out. The vetting though today is a lot different. The first place that younger people go to vet you out, Don, is to your social. Who is this
yep,
guy? What does he like to do? What is he about?
I
They
do.
already know you're in mortgage, that you were referred. Somebody referred you to them. They want to know who you are as a person. What do you stand for? What do you believe in? Blah, 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 blah. And so, I would strongly encourage everybody that isn't active on social to at least get one of your toes in the water, because even your best referral sources, when they give your name to a young person, young first-time home buyer, they're
They're
going to go
Googling
look
you.
at you on social, and if you're not there, that's going to be weird for them.
Yeah, they're like, who is this guy? And he's not even on the
Right.
social, doesn't have a LinkedIn profile, don't even know what he does, that
Yeah.
type of thing. So that's good advice. So before we get too much further, I want to leave open some time to answer any questions if anybody has questions. And also, how does someone you know, get FinLocker? Because I don't know if it's just enterprise only or if they can get it on their own. I'm fortunate that our company supports it. And, just being on the call with you, it makes me go, oh my God, I got to really work harder with my team to make sure we're leveraging it. And I'm
Well, we'll
guaranteeing
help you out
my
there.
team members are like, yeah, we should be doing it, because I know it's a huge value add without a doubt.
So great question on how and who, right? So, and the timing of this is maybe a few weeks early, but I'm going to throw it out there because that'll put some pressure on my team to execute. So today, the only way loan officers had access to FinLocker was through their employer, who would have an enterprise agreement with us. And we have somewhere around 35, 36, maybe 37 mortgage companies that are enterprise clients of FinLocker. So there's a
That's
chance that some
awesome.
of you may already be at a company that has it. In
But
the
maybe,
next three,
maybe not using it.
yeah, well, that's with all technology, and we're here
It
to
is.
help
It is.
that, by the
It is a
way.
challenge. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, that is our big challenge, but we also feel like it's our big responsibility to educate and make sure people understand not just the why and what, but how to implement and use it and have success. In about the next 3 weeks, Don, we're launching internally, we call it our untethered version of FinLocker. So we're basically standing up a branded version of FinLocker. We're calling it Key Steps, one word, Key Steps, KEY steps. And Key Steps will be available to any loan officer, whether or not they're part of a company that has an enterprise agreement with FinLocker or not. And then
Wow.
inside Key Steps, we still will have the personalization branding of the loan officer. Um, One of the newer features, which is really exciting, is we allow loan officers to coexist. I don't like to say the co-market word, but coexist with their agent referral partners, and you can
Oh,
have you can
so
have
will they
an
be co-branded?
yeah, yeah, yep,
Oh, so it's a value add for the agents
exactly,
because they're horrible about keeping in touch with their clients. They're worse than we are.
right.
We all know that. Just sorry if you're a real estate agent on here. You guys do suck. Because I know, because I always ask, where do you get your business from? And 90% of their business comes from their database or friend, their sphere of influence.
Yeah,
And then I ask, what do you do to keep in contact with them or connect with them or add value to them? They're like, nothing.
yeah,
Like, wow, 90% of your business, you don't do anything for them. Otherwise, maybe send out, a recipe,
yeah.
a couple
Hey,
times a
man,
year. That's not going
don't
to do
don't.
it.
I still I want my pumpkin pie recipe. Don't get me cut off from that.
Right, right, right. Well, we're gonna have to you're gonna be on the list. Sonia's on here. Sonia, make sure that Brian's on our Christmas crack list. We have this Christmas crack. You want to talk about people like we had to switch companies when one of ours closed, and a lot of the employees that we sent Christmas crack to, they're like, "Am I off the crack list? Oh my gosh, what do we get? How do I get my crack?"
Oh, I love it. That's so good.
What's funny, and that's what's going to show up here is Don and Brian talk about crack.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. That'll be the AI highlights.
Yeah, but people will pay attention.
Oh yeah, for a little brief amount of time.
Right, right, right. So that's cool. That means anybody will have access to
Yeah.
FinLocker.
Yep.
That's really cool because there are platforms that unfortunately, if you're not enterprise, you don't get. That's the challenge, especially if you're with a smaller company. Sometimes
Right.
people are with a smaller company or brokers, like, oh, just broker. Yeah, what do you get?
Yeah.
Nothing. Like not a thing. Yes, can you at times have a good rate, but you're gonna have and it's already changing. You're probably seeing this, General.
Oh
You've been
yeah.
through the cycles, Brian.
It's a cycle,
I'm
man.
seeing all those brokers are starting to call us now, like, hey, I'm starting to get busy and they can't handle it.
Right.
Can I possibly come back and go back to the IMB world? Because 80% of the top producers in the world are IMBs. Because
Right.
you have to have that support and the tools and the resources to actually provide a true qualified experience versus
Yeah.
just a rate that goes away. And actually, rates are all getting closer again. If you
Totally.
noticed
Yeah.
that whole gap that we had between brokers and banks and all that, it's all coming back together.
Everything
Thank God.
compresses all at the same speed, typically.
Anything else you want to leave us with, Brian? Anybody have any questions on the call?
I don't see any questions. If you want more information on FinLocker or the book, hit me up on LinkedIn. That's the best place to find me. I work my LinkedIn like it's my CRM because it is.
Smart.
That's something that I'm really like passionate about is that particular platform. And you could substitute LinkedIn for Facebook, for Instagram, or whatever. If you truly put the work in to these platforms, you will win and you will see the benefit. I will tell you, this book does not happen if I'm not doing what I'm doing on LinkedIn, because that's how Scott Payne found me in the first place to send me the purple book. We don't at FinLocker, we don't, some of the trade publications out there probably aren't going to be too happy. We don't pay for any marketing or advertising. We do everything through the LinkedIn platform, and we're knocking down deals left and right. And so if we can do that at an enterprise level, you can do it at a hyper local level, winning referral partners and consumers. Embrace it. It's not going away. This is where
Right.
business will be done. If we're not already there, we're going there fast.
Well, Sonia was nice enough. She put both books up there. She put FinLocker information in the chat,
Love
and
it.
she also put your LinkedIn so that you can go like and engage with Brian as you should, because he's one of the good guys in the industry and always sharing great information. Um, and Brian, thank you for your time and being just such a great advocate of our in our industry. You and some of the group, we can't thank you enough, and we appreciate your time because you're busy and you created a great platform for us that we need. That we absolutely need because I'm sorry, just the traditional, like I said, we have a great CRM. We have the number one CRM. I know you know who they are,
Yeah, yeah.
and it's great, but it still doesn't engage with them unless you engage with pertinent information like you were talking about credit, home values, and education and all that. That's true value. And thank you for creating that for all of us. Very
Well,
cool. You should be
I
very proud.
appreciate, yeah, I appreciate the opportunity to be here. I love what you're doing. I love what your community is all about. And if I can do anything to help again, please don't hesitate to reach out.
Cool. On that note, Sonia, throw up. Let's get you part of our community. So we have an app. I don't know if you have the app yet, but we have a really cool app called Momentum Builder,
I'm going to
which
have it in
has
a
all
minute.
our resources in there. And we'll make sure we put FinLocker in there as well as our one of the tools. We have tools, we have coaching, we have all these recordings and so forth. So download our app, Momentum, and then visit our community page for Facebook, LinkedIn, Instagram, because we're always posting great content from the pros like that are on this call, like Brian. So make sure you stay connected. You have QR codes there. Look at that. That's new, Sonia. I like that. That's pretty
I'm in.
badass. Woohoo! So become part of our community. It's the best community, one of the best communities out there, and we're always sharing and giving, and it's stronger together. Nobody has to do this alone. Right, Brian?
That's
I know
so
you're a
true. I love
community
it.
guy. So thank you for being part of our call. We have some great calls coming up. I think, who do we have coming up next? Sonia, she'll pop that up. Oh, speaking of Phil Treadwell, everybody
He's in the
loves
first
Phil. Phil's
section. He's in the book.
and Phil's awesome. He's a bro of ours, and talk about a mindset dude who just, and he's really expanded beyond mindset now.
Yeah.
We've seen him speak. He changes up his speech all the time. He's a rock star. So looking forward to that next week.